Our natural hair grows and retaining that length doesn't have to be hard. So let's do it. Let's break the status quo and grow our natural hair long. And for me, there are 5 do's and 5 don'ts that I always stick to when I'm detangling my natural hair for maximum length retention. So on this channel, I'm documenting my hair from shaved to tailbone length in 7 years. And it was only 4 years ago that I woke up and realized that our typical detangling methods was what was breaking my hair and keeping me stuck at shoulder length. So I want to show you my detangling techniques and explain why this is helping me to retain my hair growth. It's also taken me quite a few years to really discover the detangling techniques that work for me. So I hope this helps. So my first one is I always detangle my hair in sections, and I tend to do my hair in twists. So these twists that you see here now, I will actually detangle my hair in these kinds of twists. However, occasionally I do put my hair in bigger sections, for example, sections of maybe 4 to 6 in my hair. But I find that when I detangle my hair in big sections, I feel like I'm detangling it about 3 or 4 times throughout the process. I'm kind of doing it in the pre-shampoo stage, then again in the deep conditioning, and then again when I come to actually twisting my hair. So I'm not a fan of using big sections, but that's just me. I detangle my hair in these twisted sections. When I have showed my process before on Instagram, I have been asked, do I detangle before I wash my hair? And I don't. So when I wash my hair in twists, I literally will just go in the shower with them right now as they are. And then afterwards, I undo them one by one, and then I begin my detangling process. Another tip that I always do when I'm detangling my natural hair is that I always use a product with good slip. Now, when I'm doing my sections, big sections, then I will use African Pride Pre-Moisture Shampoo. And that has absolute great slip. Oh my gosh, it's just one of the best detangling products I've come across personally. But when I'm doing my hair in just these twists, which is what I normally do, then I'll just be applying my normal butter or a leave-in and the oil that I use, which is usually black castor oil, and I detangle with that simply. It's really simple. Third is that I always finger detangle first. I really believe our fingers know our hair way better than any comb or any brush. So I'll always go in with my fingers first. And what I do is I separate the roots first. I separate the roots of my hair, and then I continue down the length of my hair, pulling the strands apart and really detangling it as much as I can. Now, the next one is really up to you. I do sometimes use brushes and combs, but I specifically use a detangling brush and also a wide tooth comb. You will never see me comb my hair with a rat tail comb. That is just like a recipe for disaster. But I'm very careful when I use these tools. So for example, when I do encounter like a knot or a bit of resistance, when I'm using a detangling brush or the comb, for example, then I will ensure to just take it out of my hair. I won't continue to try and pull it all the way down. I'll just take it out, and then I'll go back to using my fingers and make sure that I can get that knot out, or, just deal with whatever is actually happening. Sometimes it may require to spray a bit more water or apply a bit more leave-in or whatever product it is with slip, just to really make sure that when I'm using these tools, they're actually helping me and not hindering me. But recently I have actually been doing my wash days without using any hair tools, and I actually thought, initially I thought that would be really, really hard. But I think now that I've gotten to understand my hair and I've gotten to work with it in the way that I know best, I found that it's not actually that hard. So it will be interesting to see over the next few years or months how me detangling my hair without using combs or brushes, how it maybe thickens my hair or helps it to grow even longer. And the 5th tip that I always stick to when I'm detangling my natural hair in order for me to have maximum length retention is that I am not afraid to cut off any single strand knots. I really just feel like they hinder the process, they get in the way, they cause further tangles to my hair, and then they just result in breakage. So even if I just see one little one, as long as I've got my hair shears next to me, then I will just cut that thing right off. So if these tips are helpful for you, then do click that subscribe button so we can grow our hair together as I share my tips and tricks with you along the way. Okay, so where are we? Let's move on to the don'ts. One of the things that I absolutely never do when I'm detangling my natural hair is I will never, ever, ever detangle my hair when it's dry. That is a recipe for disaster, I'm telling you. It's just gonna result in so much breakage. Trust me, yeah. Moving on. The second thing that I don't do when detangling my natural hair is I never leave it in its natural state and allow it to dry. So what I mean by that is, of course, I wash my hair, shampoo my hair, and then let's say if I shampooed it loose and then I just let it shrink all the way up and dry, that would just be terrible, absolutely terrible. I will always stretch my hair once I've washed it. Or to be honest, like I've already mentioned in this video, I wash my hair in twists, so they're already in a stretched state anyway. And that's just because of the nature of my hair, and probably many of you watching, it tends to tangle up on itself, and that just results in more single strand knots and more breakage. This is another one that I learned, I think I would say I learned this on my own, which is when I'm detangling, I don't pull my strands apart. What I do instead is I pull one strand out of another. What I mean by that is instead of pulling, for example, a left strand from the right strand, just literally pulling it apart this way, I will more so use this action of pulling a strand up and out of the knot. Okay, and another thing that I try not to do, sometimes I make the mistake, but I try not to rush the process, or I try not to even detangle my hair if I'm in a rush. Now, I have an example of this that happened just this week, and it's not to do with detangling per se, but I had washed my hair and I did a deep condition as well, and I was really in a rush and I didn't wash the deep conditioner out properly. So I'd even applied leave-in straight away whilst in the shower. Then I got out and realized my hair, it didn't feel like it only had leave-in in. It still felt like it had that deep conditioner in. So I literally had to go underneath the tap and wash out each section again. And yeah, it just added more time to the process. So I realized never do my hair in a rush. And then lastly, you might think this is a weird one because you're watching this video, but what I would actually say is what I don't do when it comes to detangling is I don't just copy other people's techniques if it doesn't work for my hair. Now, the key thing is if it doesn't work for my hair. There are things that I've tried, don't get me wrong, and as soon as I've discovered that that technique just doesn't work for me, for my hair, for my routine, then I don't do it, I scrap it, I put that in the bin. For example, I mentioned at the start of this video that occasionally I do wash my hair in big sections, for example, sections of 4 or maybe 5 or 6, and my hair doesn't like being left to dry in those sections. It really hates it. My hair loves to be washed in twists, and the routine that I have just works absolutely perfect for me. But yet occasionally, I do still want to give my hair a thorough wash by taking it out of the twist, which is why I do very, very occasionally wash in big sections. But I honestly would never make a habit of doing that because I just know my hair doesn't like it. And so if any of the tips that I've shared in this video so far are tips that you know do not work for your hair, or maybe they do work for your hair, for example, the ones that I said that I do, maybe they don't work for your hair, or the things that I've said don't work for me, maybe they do work for your hair. I would encourage you, do what works for your hair. So even though it's taken me quite a while to kind of solidify my detangling routine, I have actually been doing it pretty much like this from the beginning. And so if you feel like watching a video of me detangling my hair 3 years ago when it was like afro height, then go ahead and click this video. Otherwise, to see a more recent video of me using this routine, then click this video next, and I'll see you over there in that one. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.